Hello. Welcome back, podcast audience. It's Birds of a Feather, the co-ed edition with your girl AJ the Suburban Princess. And there's my co-ed. What up, Eddie B?
What's going on? This miserable day.
Yeah,
A
happy
good
Thursday.
day, but a miserable day.
A good day, but a miserable day. It's rainy here in PA and kind of dreary. It's been nice for the past couple days. We've been spoiled, but the rain just kind of played hide and go seek a lot today.
Oh,
And
yeah.
as you know, with my energy, all you need to do is give me rain, and I'm just like this close to a nap every other hour. So let me put my Goddard on this side since I'm looking in the. All right, so Eddie, talk to me. We're glad to see the Eagles win against the Arizona Cardinals, but
Yeah.
what is it that you particularly liked or didn't like about that win? Because I'm gonna tell you what I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. Well, make sure I got the mic close enough to me. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So I like the fact that yeah, it was a tough. They showed they can hang in a tough game. It got tough, and they hung in there. I mean, did I like it that it was that close? No, but um, I mean that's Arizona's offense is still pretty good. And Kyler Murray is an X factor a lot. So at least he didn't run. I thought he was going to give at least a running touchdown, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I was waiting for him
but
to do his little skittle. He
oh
only got it in
yeah,
once.
yeah, and yeah, it just got a little dicey at the end. With the whole I don't know, the defense should have. I mean, at least they held them to that many points. The defense didn't do a horrible job, but
No.
and then we're starting to feel that. Yes, I've seen guys getting carted walking off the field, and it's not cool either.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I think this next game is going to be. They're going to look a lot better than they did this past week. They always get fired up against Cowboys, and Cowboys haven't seen a good offense yet, so we'll see. But we'll talk about it.
I
I guess we can go back to them. We'll go back to Arizona.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because the signs, as soon as they were showing the signs and the highlights, that they'll be like, "Well, we'll be back in February," and I was like, "Oh, that's right, the Super Bowl's not Arizona." At first, I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
But
And did you notice the one thing? That field was horrible.
I did notice that dirt was kicking up every time somebody landed or somebody, ran
You see
hard.
how many
Yeah,
guys making cuts and they were slipping and
yeah,
falling,
guys
and
were slipping.
I was like, wow.
I thought about that too.
The field looked really dry or something. I don't know what the hell was wrong with it.
They don't have the Eagles award-winning turf keeping whatever their title is at the link, because how you have an indoor field that's shittier than our field, which is outside.
Outside, yeah, right.
How is that possible? So somebody's not doing their work. Somebody needs to be fired on the groundskeeping. But hey, again, that's the one thing about the link that's great, is that they care about the details of the turf. Because I know even before I worked there, they were always like, "Don't step on the grass." When you did the tours, they were like, "Don't step on the grass."
Yeah.
So they care about their groundskeeping. But so I brag a little about Goddard.
Oh, he had an awesome game.
He could have had a touchdown. So that's why I'm a little mad, because he came close several times. And then also there was just a lot of times that they could have had more touchdowns, which is why, as much as I want to be very happy that they won 20-17, and plus you and me had our score predictions, which is why I kind of like to.
I thought you were gonna get yours.
I thought I was going to get it. I said 24-17. It just sounded like a football score. And you would have been close too if they hadn't scored again. But
yeah.
But yeah. Like I said, I was gonna nitpick even before we hit record, because I told you, I said I only worry about close games when I don't feel like, if I felt like the offense did what it had to do, if I felt like the defense did what it had to do, I wouldn't have minded it. But I think there were times that the offense left like at least like 40 plays out there. So, and I'm sure that's why Jalen wasn't seeming all happy and stuff.
He wasn't happy.
He was bummed. I think there was a little friction on the sidelines at one point between him and the coach and the offensive coordinator. So I don't know if him and Shane weren't on the right pages at times, or if, Sirianni wasn't. But the bottom line is, somewhere along the line, there probably should have been an extra score or two. Shout out to our backup kicker, Cameron Dicker. Dicker the
Yeah,
kicker.
came in and did his job.
Did his job, for a boy that doesn't care for football. He came in there and did his job very well. So maybe we should have people who aren't part of this sport as backups because they seem to have a little bit more direction. Speaking of which, someone who wasn't originally in football but was in rugby, Jordan Mailata, they said he practiced a little today as
Oh,
well as
nice.
Vontae
Yeah.
Maddox. They were limited.
Oh, good. At least they practice. That's
So at
good.
least they practice. I know that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to play Sunday night, but Jordan, I know
Yeah.
with the shoulder thing, you don't know whether or not it's something that will eventually be at least manageable by Sunday.
Yeah.
So Avante, I don't know because he's a little guy, but with ankles, if he has a high ankle sprain and they're just not saying it, maybe he's probably going to be a wait till after the bye week decision. But they
Yeah.
could
No need
use him.
to. Yeah. No need to rush him if you don't want him to get hurt again. Yeah.
Right. And they could use him though, because I think he's one of those guys that definitely explained why a
Oh.
lot of the times had CJ not even gotten that interception, they wouldn't have had much progress on, the DBs outside of Bradbury. Thank God for Bradbury.
Mm,
Because I think the rest of the guys kind of struggle. I mean, shout out to Josiah Scott and Zeph. Why can I never remember dude's name?
Zach McPherson.
Zeph McPherson. Zach McPherson. So yeah,
Yeah.
those guys to me, they shine when they have to, but honestly, it comes down to if our linebackers,
Yeah.
make it easier for them.
Slay had a good game again. He shut down his side
Yeah.
for the most
So
part. Yeah. So.
yeah, so that was good, but I think there were moments that you have to question whether or not had we had everybody that's injured now there would that game had been a little higher in terms of but then also like I said, going back to what I originally just said with Sirianni and Hurts, I think there were times that they were not on the right page and some plays just didn't get all the way. There were a couple drives that went dead because either Jalen took a sack or Miles didn't hit the middle. I mean, Miles did what he could, but they obviously weren't able to run the ball until the second half, which usually is the case.
Yeah. You run.
Um,
Yeah. You tire him out and run him down. Yeah.
right. So if there's certain things that just aren't working, I do think there were moments that Hertz probably should have passed off instead of thrown, but I don't think it was enough to annoy me or anything because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one of these people that always looks for something wrong with Hertz. I'm just one of these people that's just like, I think there were moments that he might have hesitated a little bit where he doesn't. I mean, AJ still made the great catches that he could have made, but at the end of the drive, they still ended up kicking instead of getting six. So there's something that stalled a couple times during the first half.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they would have been ahead at least 2 touchdowns before the second half, and we wouldn't have probably nitpicked about it being only 3 points. But if it's a defensive matchup, it's a defensive matchup. I mean, considering how the Cardinals were banged up,
Mm-hmm.
Ertz wasn't a factor against us, even though it was good to see him. But I honestly feel like Kyler still has an issue with either reading the defense or he still has an issue with the fact that he doesn't have D Hop out there. So he doesn't really know where Zach is all the time because I know him and Zach had a few miscommunications.
Yeah. And also,
So
yeah, the defense. I mean, he got sacked one time, I think.
yeah, just one. The one time they got to him.
But they stayed in his face enough to disrupt them.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
Yeah, and they
is
did eventually get up there. They just didn't sack him another time, but they did
yeah.
disrupt. So that was a good sign. I mean, I do believe in this team that they definitely bend, don't break, which is definitely going to be reassuring come Sunday night because whether or not, I mean, obviously at this point we all know
And
it's Cooper Rush.
and that's great. And that's also great when you
That's
get
going to
to the
come in handy.
playoffs too, because you're
Right.
going to be playing better teams. You can play in good teams
Yeah.
that are that have been playing that have been clicking all year. So,
Well, this is the
but
time also too for them to take the time off after this week's game because they need to figure out how that synergy can become without thinking too hard. Because after the bye, I mean, they got the Buffalo Bills, they got Green Bay, they got all these teams that they're just going to have to probably no huddle a lot so they can get into a rhythm.
mm-hmm.
Because a lot of those places where they have to play, like they're going to have to play in Indy, which is going to be loud,
Yeah,
regardless of the quarterback. Because Matt Ryan we know sucks. Hopefully he'll be sacked to death.
yeah.
I don't
Well,
know
he's
who
a
his I
he,
don't know.
he, Maddie's a freaking statue, though. I mean, he
It's
just
a shame. I feel
yeah,
bad for him, but I mean, I don't. I look at him and I always say him or Carson Wentz. Like at least Carson probably would have moved a little more.
yeah,
But even if he was trying, I mean, look at Carson now. He's struggling right now in Washington, and they play tonight. And yes, I did bet some money on the Bears because I do believe Justin Fields will take that team home tonight. But Yeah, I mean, Carson also has a bicep, they said, issue. I said he's always throwing at air, so of course he has issues with his biceps because when he's not throwing connections, he's just throwing down the field because he wants to. So, and if him holding the ball was an issue here, then holding a ball in Washington
Oh,
is the same issue.
of course.
So, and coming from a Wentz stand at one point, trust me, it's very hard to diss him. But at this point, I think it's kind of obvious. Like at some point, he has to deprogram himself to be like, I'm on my third team. I'm having the same results. It can't always be somebody else's fault. Like sometimes it's you, you know.
Yeah.
But
I didn't like what Rivera did this week either.
no, let's talk about that
That
because let's just talk about
that
there's a time where your team
that's a
has to
little
get under your.
that's a little fucked up actually.
First of all, even if he didn't say this directly as the Colts GM guy did with Carson, you still don't say anything that condescends your quarterback, regardless.
Yeah.
Because we all know what they want to do, but they don't really do it until like after like a good handful of games,
Hmm.
to decide to switch to the Sam Howell, I think it's his backup that everybody keeps saying is better.
Yeah, but
But he just go
that's
ahead. What did he say?
I mean that's just crazy. You don't just throw your guy out there like that. That's insane. When honestly, it's not all his fault. Their defense
He
didn't
doesn't
play
have
well.
time all the time.
Their defense didn't play well, and the offensive line is horrible
I don't think
too.
they even try to hold for him half the time. When I had to listen to the game or watch the few highlights I saw when I was in Miami, I was like, I feel like half the time they're not holding for him at all.
Hmm.
You know? Or just some of the guys are just like when he gets sacked, they're just kind of like, oh well. And I'm just like,
Or is it just that bad, right?
they're and very likely it's the latter, yeah. But I do feel like
Yeah.
with Carson sometimes there's a way that he plays that is so erratic that you don't the O line is struggling going, I don't know what the
Mm.
hell he is. So I'm just gonna just do my part and not get
That's just
called for holding.
and that's just sad though.
It is
Yeah,
sad, but yeah, Ron
yeah,
Rivera is a guy of virtue, but I do think it was one
and
of those situations where he could have answered that question better.
yeah, and I usually like Ron
Yeah,
a
we all
lot,
do.
and just to hear him come out like that, I'm like, wow, dude, like, come on.
Well, I just feel like don't kick Carson when he's down. It's too easy at this point in the game. And I feel like the least you could just say is like, we all have issues on teams we have to work on.
Hmm.
Because if you out the quarterback, knowing damn well that it could also be like we just said, the O line could be the defense. You know what I mean? Like they have some injuries.
Hmm.
Jahad Dotson's down now, so it's like it's not like Carson has a lot of people to throw to,
No, he doesn't.
and
So
we all know he holds the ball. He's going to do that regardless. It's his first instinct, but you can work around it by just not having him throw. That's exactly what Frank Reich did in Indy was just limited his throws.
yeah, you can't.
It's the only thing that really saved his ass from throwing too many picks. So, but anyway,
Yeah.
those are things you shouldn't say as a coach. And the one thing I know about Sirianni, he will always be a cheerleader for his team, regardless of his frustration. So, I mean, other
Yeah.
than we know what he said about Derek Barnett under his breath, saying it's always him. That's the only time Sirianni slipped. And as much as he wanted to act like it didn't happen, it happened.
Yeah.
I mean, fans aren't blind. We know what Derek's issues
Oh,
were.
well, yeah, we do.
You know what I mean? So he hasn't been the same since the Super Bowl year. But at the end, you know, teammates change, rosters change. Some guys just never recover from their injuries correctly. I
No.
told you last pod, I still think Carson has been right since that concussion 2-3 seasons ago.
Yeah, and I
I think
agree with you.
he's just been in kind of a fight or flight mode since recovering from that bad knee injury to the
And his
concussion
and that back injury too.
and the
Like,
back injury. But I don't think it's luckily he wasn't as bad as Jameis with his 4 freaking fractures.
oh God, yeah.
Like Jameis, like if it
Like,
wasn't his vision, he got LASIK and still throwing picks.
still throwing picks. You need a refund, man. On that.
My dad texted me. He was just like, and he's still throwing too hard and shit.
Like,
He said,
did
even
they
with the
make
LASIK,
you like? Did they make his vision worse?
whatever you took it out, put it
Yeah,
back
right.
in. But no, I mean his injury was really bad, and you can't tell me he's going to be able to throw good with 4 cracks in his back. So
Yeah. Oh God.
whatever situation with Taysom Hill or whoever's there now, it's like Saints still got to think about a quarterback situation. Like they're a
Hey,
mess.
I'm okay. Let them keep losing. It's fine.
I get it. I get. Do we play them this year? I don't think we play the Saints this year.
No,
Do we?
but we get their first round
We
pick,
get
so
their
I
first
want
round
them
pick
to.
after that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just keep. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be upset if they have a really bad record this year.
I knew there had to be a reason why people kept talking about this team because at first I was like, why do we even care about what the Saints are doing? But I just realized, okay.
Yeah.
So back up to the game in general. I'm glad that they won, yes, but I do worry about the little fundamental things come the Dallas game because the Dallas is obviously a better defense in terms of um, consistency. And so with our defense going up against their offense, how quick can Cooper Rush let go of the ball before we sack him? Before
Yeah.
they sack him. Those are the
Well,
only things I worry about.
like I forgot. I think Shannon Sharp was saying this, and I agree. Um, what his, I mean, to be honest with you, Cooper Rush, he hasn't gone up against good defense yet, and he hasn't had to really do anything for these wins. So, what's going to happen when it's going to be all the pressure is going to be actually on him to do this stuff? Like how's it going to be when he's got a defensive line like staring down his throat? Because he's going to they're going to go after him.
Well,
They're,
and then also the play. Forget what player, just probably Tank or whatever Dallas Cowboy player just said the same thing about Jalen. Like Jalen hasn't gone against us. You know,
yeah, but we've gone against some good, solid defenses, though. I mean, even though Washington sucks, their front four are really good. Yeah,
Jacksonville wasn't bad. It was
Jacksonville
supposed to be the best.
has a solid defense.
Yeah. So
You
we have.
know,
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I
But
mean, only one that was suspect was the Lions defense. That's about it.
yeah. But I mean, at this point, we also knew that the Lions was pretty much a gimme. But it being the first game of the season,
This is
and we didn't really know
always.
what the team was going to be like yet. It was kind of it could have gone either way.
Mm-hmm.
But any opportunity the Lions did, they kind of effed it up. So, but no, I agree with you. But this is to me the most exciting week for Dallas Eagles in a while because the past few years have not
Yeah,
really been challenging. So
yeah,
it hasn't been exciting to hear the Dallas Eagles matchup in a long time.
yeah.
So I'm excited more than I've been in a while to watch a Dallas, especially prime time.
I'm happy to see a good primetime matchup. They've been kind of shitty lately, so
Yeah, and I told you when I reposted on our Instagram page, coed edition underscore BOF, coed underscore edition BOF,
yep.
Instagram page. I did repost the night that when we literally had just gotten a homie from Miami. Um,
Oh, Ajayi, yeah.
we got a Jai from Miami that day before, and the next thing you know, that's what that motherfather did was just run through the defense, and then he couldn't finish his run just before the end zone, and that's when
Uh,
he said they're going to change my
yo,
score in Madden.
yeah, and then you got what's he on the little sideline fuck with him talking about, man, you better unhitch that wagon and move your ass. I'm like,
They're like,
oh,
finish that off, man.
I
Yeah,
was
but
like,
he's
that's
out of
mess.
practice. He's a little hurt. His knees are bad. But yeah, no, that was. I remember
He's
we were
a
all there at the art garage watching it, and we were all like, "Yo, go, go!" And they're like, "He's running out of steam. He's running out of steam."
and he slowly ran out.
Slowly made it to the end, but he was pissed because he was like, "God dang it!" But yeah,
Hey,
that was the last time I remember really screaming at the TV and really being excited watching the Eagles Dallas matchup. So for those who aren't really jazzed about it, because we're still kind of lulling over to as I segue into the Phillies NLDS round, we just watched last night. We watched them lose 3-0. At this point, I think that nothing can really dampen the fact that the Phillies are even in the playoffs at this point. So
yeah, I
we
mean,
still got to be excited for them.
they're
I
not,
still feel a good victory tomorrow night in my bones.
yeah, they're not going to win every game either. Series.
No, but I understand the apprehension. I mean, because I told you I didn't think they were even going to get this far at this point. The way they had kind of crapped out the last part of the regular season.
Yeah,
And they're still saying that Wheeler's not really 100% well, and that his shoulder is still swollen. And I think that if they have to go game 5, it might be a really hard decision not to use Falter to kind of hold on to Wheeler's shoulder.
Falter had some solid outings. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with using him as an emergency pitcher if they
I'd
do.
rather see him than Gibson out there because
Yeah, damn right. Yeah, Gibson kind of shot his load because of this. Excuse me, that's gross. I meant to
yeah,
say, okay, he burned out.
yeah,
I meant to say that he used all he had to use. Like I feel like
yeah,
he's very extremely limited in his confidence now. just like Brogdon, as being the
Mm,
closer has shot. Like there's just some guys that after a while, like they can't bring it back for
yeah,
whatever reason. I understand when they talk about guys having good stuff. Some pitchers just don't have the same stuff by the end of the season. So if they have to use him or they have to use Ranger or Eflin again an emergency closing situation in Game 5, so be it.
I mean,
Um,
it's yeah. You use everything. You use
you
every
use what you
tool
can
you got.
use,
You got to use every tool you got in the shed at this point. 'Cause,
right? And
yeah,
honestly, I don't not. That's really double negative. I don't expect Bryce not to come back with a home run delivery tomorrow night. I'm waiting for Bryson Stott to come back because he used to be our dude and he's just gotten cold.
but,
Um,
but the
I'm
key.
sure Reese can redeem himself at some point
Well,
tomorrow too.
we also need Reese and we need Reese and Schwarber to start hitting because
Yeah, Schwarber too.
they're not hitting.
They're not, but honestly, Schwarber is like when Ryan used to go cold. So we know that it's not the opportune time to go cold, but a lot of
Mm-hmm.
hot batters like him will have those dead periods, and then when he comes back, you just pray it's within the same series
Hey,
so that they can salvage some of those runs.
look at Nicky C.
First of
Yeah,
all,
he all of a sudden he's
he's just like,
he's
I'm
he,
glad
he's
I caught it.
he's hitting he's getting hits too.
You
Like
just start
hey.
talking like Freddie, what's his name, Mitchell. Just be like, my hands are so great, and you just be sitting there like, dude, sit
I
down.
just like the what did he say? He said I just slid and was hoping I was gonna catch it. I was like,
See,
yo.
and this is my problem with him because he be
Well,
seeming like he's so big and bad, but he has like zero confidence. Like, and then he hits at the weirdest times. You want to be like, "Yo, where was that? Like 5 games ago, mother father." Like,
hey,
that's why
look,
I put on
hey,
my
I'll
post. I said, "Will a real Nick stand up? Who is Nick?"
yeah. Hey, look, if he wants to show up now, I'm okay with him showing up now.
Oh,
Like
please
this is
do,
fine.
please do. I'm just
Hey,
saying he
because
annoys me because he's not consistent.
yeah, like if he shows up now, hey, all will be forgiven.
I'm look,
In
I don't care
the playoffs where it's important, hey, you know they will not look at anything else he does.
as long as if he is to be the one to catch that last out, to save a game for us again at home, then so be it. Because I mean, I could
You
use
saw
him
what they
running
did to
up
Freddie
the.
Mitchell after he talked all that smack and then didn't catch one ball in the Super Bowl. Everybody was like,
Exactly.
"Where you at now, Freddie?"
Where you at, Freddie? Yeah.
Like,
You had your one little game for 4th and 26, and then you disappeared. And then he swears it's because
sure,
Donovan
sure.
stopped giving him the ball,
Yeah,
whatever.
no, because your ass wasn't getting open. That's what it
You weren't
was.
getting separation because Donnie would have found you, but
Like doing because
here nor
those
there.
CBs on the Patriots were kicking his ass.
Thank you. And that's why he messed around and ended up in jail. So he better not be talking no more
Now you
mess
just see him
anymore.
wandering the streets of Philly.
Yeah.
So, like,
Making friends with anybody he can.
yeah,
Um, but anyway, at this point though, I do feel like the thing with the Phillies that we have to remember is one, every game is not going to be the same. You have to
no,
consider whatever bats warm up one night won't be consistent the next night because again, you have to deal with muscle memory. You have to deal with the fact these guys been. We were just saying before we recorded, like what 17 out of the games,
yeah,
like or
and
14
this
out of 17
happens.
games they've been away from home.
Yeah,
So
this happens with a
it's
lot of
important.
teams. I mean,
Yeah,
you're not gonna have everybody hot every night. Somebody's gonna step up.
yeah.
You don't know who it's gonna be. I mean, that's the beauty of baseball. Sometimes it's like, oh shit, where this guy come from? All
I
of a
mean,
sudden,
honestly,
like,
yeah, we get our who's that guy Matt Stairs that ended up saving their butts, just before. I
yeah,
mean, come on,
came off the bench cold, and hit a home run. It was
yeah.
like,
You never know. That Darren, what's the guy that we like? The guy that I call Guy Smiley. He may come from
yeah,
like
because
batting from the bullpen and hit a home run for us. You
yeah,
never
because
know.
that I'll never forget that series against the Dodgers. Because wasn't for Jimmy or Stairs,
Right.
we'd have lost that
We would have
series.
lost that series. Yeah, we had no hope and a
Because
prayer.
Jimmy had that walk off. Like
Yeah, there's
Jimmy had
certain
that
things that saved it. It was just the magic of the whole series.
he had that
Because
clutch hit.
honestly, there was no reason for them to win that series at all. That's
Yeah,
what makes it. That's what you're waiting for. You're waiting for the moments that they connect on the right times.
yeah,
And with them being back home, the pressure and the motivation after last night is going to make them want to. Now, I just hope it doesn't make them press too much. I hope that they just breathe and relax because that's exactly what they need to do is just relax.
yeah. I think
You
they'll be
know,
okay.
so
And
I do too, actually.
I like yeah, I'm happy that they gave Thompson a job.
Thompson, yeah, now it's official. It was kind of a given, but I don't see the reason why they wouldn't because I honestly don't think they
Hey,
had
you know
anybody else
what?
on the list.
You know what? Give him a chance for 2 more years, see what he can do. You
It
know?
can't hurt. We've been through Gabe Kapler. We've been through what's the name? Just was here. Yankees
And
manager guy.
hey, look what he did with the team in the short amount of
Girardi.
time he had him. So I mean,
Yeah. I mean, honestly, at this point, I think his calm demeanor is what keeps the guys in check.
turn
Sometimes
them
you don't
around. Yeah,
turn him around. Sometimes you don't need the guy. Charlie was never that kind of a rah-rah guy necessarily. He was kind of a quiet disciplinarian. So I think that Rob's the same way. And I think that's better to translate because some of these dudes probably beating themselves up daily. I'm sure Reese has been beating himself up since last night.
yeah,
So at this point, I think only Reese can do is just keep hitting him in, ground hits or whatever, and just making sure he's aware on first base what's coming his way this time. That's all. That's all you can do is
mm,
learn from the past.
yeah,
So, but moving on real quickly before we get out of here, what are the things you're looking forward to with this Dallas game? I mean, one, it's home, so it's already a win. But
yeah.
what?
Um,
Wait, did they announce the uniforms for Sunday night?
I don't know. I didn't see him yet.
I hope it's black.
Uh, I thought they weren't going to push those till later in the year,
I thought so too.
but I would kind of love to see that on prime time,
I
all
think it
blacked
makes
out.
sense. All blacked out, black helmets, black unis. Oh, it will be crazy. I mean, this is the season to be blackout because football weather always brings the black jerseys out,
Yeah.
you know? But what were you going to say too? I cut you off. You're saying what you
No,
expect for a
no.
Dallas
But yeah,
game.
I'm hoping to see. I want them to play some consistent defense. Just keep them. Just do what they've been doing. Just control the ball. And one thing I hope they can do again is see how much time they kept the other team from having the ball. If they can do that again and just from running, that's why they really didn't need to score that much because they left them no time by the time they got down to the
True.
end too. So
Yeah, that was good how
it's
they managed
like,
the clock. You're right.
yeah, they got them because remember Andy Reid days we couldn't manage the clock for
Oh,
shit.
shit. And he definitely
So
didn't know when to use his timeouts. Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, I like the fact that time management has been great and they've been controlling that side of the ball. So
Yeah.
I would like to see that again. Give them, keep their offense off the field as much as possible. Yeah,
Yeah, it would be nice to actually see a high scoring game just because we haven't seen like a really high scoring game in a while. And I feel like at some point, if they get comfortable and they kind of just blow the thing open in the second half, it would be even better. Because I
yeah,
think the second half scoring means a lot more these days than the first half. Because for a while they couldn't score in the first half at all, and now we got them scoring in the first half, and then they peter out in the second. So we just need a balanced game. And I don't know. We need some like I think it's time for AJ to get a catch in the end zone at home on a Dallas game. I think AJ needs to be able to introduce himself
I think
with a dramatic bomb in the
uh,
end zone.
I like to see him and Smith both get one.
Yeah, well, especially we know this with Smitty. Smitty's been close every time. I mean, he's
Yeah.
already had miraculous catches, not necessarily in the end zone, by the end zone.
Oh my
But
god,
yeah,
yeah.
it's time for him and AJ to like literally blow the roof off the link by getting like
I'm
hopefully Jalen can get the ball out there.
I'm
You know,
predicting a bomb to Quez in this game.
Quez, I always never.
I think he's gonna hit him with a bomb.
I'm never shocked with Quez because Quez gets in the end zone. It seems quicker than the rest of them.
Oh,
But
he's
I
so
need
fast. I mean,
he is, and that's probably why. But that's why I say like I wouldn't be shocked if Quez gets a touchdown or the first touchdown. But I would really, really like to see AJ get it first because I know he's seething that he hasn't gotten the ball in the end zone yet.
yeah. I would
You
love
know,
on the first play of their
yeah,
drive and they just bomb it out
it just
to
bomb it. Yeah, like
just
Mike Vick did. Pull a Vic, like get
yeah.
everybody squared out, get
Well,
everybody deep.
Remember Andy used to do that all the time.
All
Andy
the
would be
time.
like, "All right, first play of the game, go downfield." Like that's
Especially when Donovan was good at faking the
and
sell, like
and
he was
remember
gonna just look
Donovan
for
had a
him too.
cannon. He didn't have to even
Totally.
he didn't have to even like he just flicked that damn thing and it goes all the way down.
He would throw it through his players. That's a problem. That's why
Yeah,
sometimes they reflected off of them because he threw so hard. But I
yeah.
always loved a dramatic, like opening deep shot to one of the wide receivers,
Either Deshaun or like somebody. Yeah, like
especially Deshaun. Deshaun would always
yeah,
milk that. That was the best part of Deshaun's play back in the day. But yeah, at this point, that's what I need them to do. I need them to get already like a reason to be hype about the offense early, and then I need them to kind of refigure it once everything starts getting like it normally does in the middle of the game, and then by
hmm
like third or fourth quarter they just have a whole resurgence of energy, and
yeah,
then kind of almost recreate it with maybe more runs from Miles or some trick play that works. Not
yeah.
necessarily Philly special because we're not going to touch that anymore. But I mean,
Nah,
just some kind of play that just works and shot. Even when Jalen tries to fake the whole, trying to get
yeah.
freaky, but I don't think Dallas is going to fall for that if he does it too much. But I just want something really like, whoa, like we haven't seen it before and have it work. And that kind of shut down the whole second half energy. You know what I mean? Like at least
hmm
make it so loud in there that Dallas is going to tap
Well,
out.
you know that place is gonna erupt. You know
We're going to be lit
this.
regardless. Because like we said, nobody's been this excited in a while for this matchup, but it's even better because it's Sunday night. People going to be drunk all day. I'm glad I ain't working this weekend. I pray for Terry out there because I know she got to work that game, and I know she ain't looking forward to it. But I think it's going to be one of those games that people will be lit from sun up to sundown, and that's going to make an even rowdy audience if the
That's
Eagles
why.
take off early.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, sure.
if I was going to the game in Dallas that's coming later in the season, I don't think it would be as loud because by then I'll just put it out there. By then, I'm sure the Eagles will own the division, so it won't matter. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna
right.
just put it out there now. So it may
Hey,
not be as hype, but
how
I
many
think it's still
do
gonna
not
come.
matter games have we had against them recently?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
it
been
hasn't been
crazy
really
because
special.
everybody's like, "Oh, well, they always." And I was like, "It's like, well, my friends that Cowboy, someone knows Cowboy fans, like, oh, we swept the Eagles." I was like, "Well, they were playing a game that the Eagles didn't care about. They didn't need it, so they didn't
No,
risk anybody getting hurt." So
especially if it was the latter part of the season. Yeah, we didn't need that win.
yeah,
If we didn't get it in the first like 6 games, then it didn't matter because
yeah,
at that point the division was already decided.
yeah. You're resting against the starters. You're not
Right.
even playing the starters. So I was like, "All right,
And even now with 17 games, it's even like less important. You know what I mean? Because it's just
yeah."
almost like they're treating it like a reverse preseason game. You want to sit everybody out
Especially if you're
who's pretty
sitting
much
pretty
in
at that.
for
If you're sitting
preseason.
pretty at that point, you're clinched. You don't want, nope. Well,
Definitely if you're clinched.
why do it? Why do
Why?
it?
Because at that point we're just gonna be seeing a lot of what's his name? Um
Garner.
you Garner. I was just gonna
Yeah.
call him Trucker.
Uncle Rico.
Uncle Rico. It'll be Uncle Rico game. He'll be out there, headbanging and crap.
Yeah,
But
right.
but yeah, no, at this point, like I said, I want it to be an exciting game. I know it's kind of hard to watch a team that's like, even though they've been gelling at certain games, other games they haven't,
Yeah.
but they've still managed to make the win. That's why I say bend don't break is better than nothing. But I
True.
really want to see a complete 4 quarters. And if they gotta rotate, people going in and out just to make the offense move even more consistent and the defense stay consistent, so be it, because that's why you got backups.
I want
That's
5 sacks. I want 5 sacks.
I do. I
That's what
want
I
multiple
want
sacks too. Yeah, we need to
every
really like
day. I
shut it
want
down.
5. I want to shut them down.
I wanted at least not to be 1 or 2 because I think that's kind of pathetic for a Dallas game
But
to only get like 1 or 2.
we may be looking at a close one again.
Highly possible. Like I'm saying, both teams want it, and
Yeah.
Cooper Rush definitely wants to show Dak why he wants to stay another week or two, at the starting helm, and he kind of plays the way I guess the traditional NFL people like a quarterback to play.
Well, if he wants
But
to stand in that pocket and not move, hey, just go after him.
go ahead. If you're not a great runner, then that's perfect for flexing them.
Yeah,
Because Lord knows
just
Sweaty could use like 15 more sacks to his credit.
he was
You
mad. He
know?
missed one. I think the guy he almost got past the guy and he
Yeah.
laid on top of him or something,
Yep.
which
Yep.
I thought was holding, but whatever. Maybe I'm
Whatever.
wrong because
One
sometimes
less holding call on them is good.
some guys they don't call it, but
No, which is good because how many times have I told you I used to make fun of you because I'd be like, Eddie be spotting 15 holds before a play is even done. He'd be like, how do you not see the holding?
yeah, it's crazy when you see it happen. You're like, wow, how are these guys not
Yeah.
seeing?
Well, especially, I always believe they'll only pay attention if you kind of do a weird, like that, because they won't see it if you're like, because there's a way that I've noticed that guys who do it underneath can kind of hide that they're holding because they're holding a certain way.
Yeah.
But if you do it blatantly out by collar and everything and stuff, I'd be like, I would just dramatically flail.
Just start flailing around.
Just start flailing because honestly, they're not going to pay it no mind because they're looking at something else. But if you
Yeah,
throw the arm up, and I always see Fletch doing that. So it's like there are times I don't know how they don't call holding so much on the other team as much as they do with the Eagles. But lately, honestly, it hasn't been as many holding calls, knock on wood.
nah,
'Cause
a
I
lot
think
of
they're
bullshit,
learning.
a lot of bullshit roughing the passer calls and stuff.
Well, that's going to happen now thanks to Brady being still in this freaking game because he's just screwing it up for everybody, his marriage and the game all over again. But I also believe that ineligible player down the field shit's got to stop because I don't know
Oh
what the
my
fuck
god, that one is
that
so.
seems to be the popular one with the Eagles, and I don't know why it's happening so much, but I really think they either just need to ignore it.
Oh, it's the RPO thing too. So it's like
I mean, I kind of understood the one that was called on Dallas at first because at first I was like, "That's bullshit." He didn't even touch the guy, but he was. They said he
he
was
was
near the guy,
he
and
was
he
a little
wasn't
too
supposed to
far.
be.
He should have stood there with his hand
Yeah,
with his like should have
and
stood there without like. pushing him. He could just stood there and he wouldn't have got
Yeah.
called for it.
I'm just glad he wasn't like made it a violent push. Like I'm glad he just kind of stopped himself and kind of was like, and then he realized like, oh shit. But I think at this point, like I said, the ineligible player down the field one is starting to really irk me because I really feel like it's such a wasted call to be against a lineman when they don't freaking know where their quarterback's running half the time. So they're just trying
Yeah,
to space themselves out. But whatever, rules schmools. But half the
yeah.
time, I really don't think that those flags are even really legit. I just think it's almost the way for the rest to kind of slow down the game sometimes, I think, because when they're playing too fast and out of control, like I think it's their way of like creating order by throwing a stupid flag. But I say let them play. I hope whatever happens this game happens and we don't have too
Yeah.
many yellow flags all over the damn place unless it's for legitimately
Legitimate
smacking the
calls,
shit
yeah.
out of Connor at a Cooper Rush. Like if we get to the point where he's bleeding, then I can say, okay, they deserve that flag. Maybe an ejection. I don't know, but it better be in the fourth quarter and not in the beginning of the game. Like if he's had enough, he want to say white flag. I get it.
They like Rock, throw in the towel.
Right,
Throw the
throw
damn
in the
towel.
freaking towel. So yeah, but and then lastly, just NBA gossip. Shout out to the Sixers. They had a perfect preseason game records. I don't know if they play again. Honestly, I know I saw last night they won.
I think they usually have 4 preseason games.
Yeah, so they're 4-0, so they're done. So that's
Okay,
good.
yeah.
That's good because I know Maxi looked like Maxi plus more. They already seem like
Yeah,
they're working well with House.
everybody's got a spring in their step. It looks good, yeah.
Spring in her step. It definitely is working out with D'Anthony. D'Anthony? I got his name wrong before.
Some of
I think it's
them,
D'Anthony.
yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, he's working well with them. And Melton, yeah. He's working well with them. Obviously the beard looks better. Embiid, same old Embiid. And at the end of the day, I just want to see some better defense, you know. Supposedly Matisse has worked on his game a little bit as far as offense, so we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
The latest is they waived Isaiah Joe and Bassie so that they're making room for something. So something must be bubbling.
Really, I like
You
Isaiah
know,
Joe too. Sad, it
I did
sucks.
too, but he's a shooter that they probably could use on another team if they need to move some things around. So I assume something's popping. So that's the latest gossip that I wanted to
Hmm.
relay while we were on here. And then
I'm surprised they got rid of a shooter and what
this
we
is
got
true.
another. Yeah, we got another one coming in. That's
That's all I can think of because knowing Daryl Morey, he saw something because usually
yeah,
they said most people say that you just move one person for them to waive two. That must mean something. They're trying to make room for something, so something's
yeah,
coming. So we'll see what happens. Switching
yeah.
gears real quick, I wanted your opinion while we on live to basically state your opinion of this whole brush up on the Warriors court with the latest controversy with
Oh,
Draymond
and
Green.
Draymond, yeah.
Draymond and Jordan Poole. If your opinion is one, did you know that practices were recorded? And two, do you think that he was set up so they could find a way to trade him? What are your thoughts?
I don't think it was a setup. I think they just had a disagreement and it happened to get caught on camera and it turned to
Right.
a fight. And it turned to a fight. And it sucks because he has that reputation. So immediately, of course, the media's gonna jump on it.
Right.
You know, he has that reputation of being a little violent and like want to fight all the time. Like
Always in people's faces. Yeah. Trying to psych them out.
just like Anthony Mason back in
Yeah.
the day. Like, you know,
Yeah.
so I
Everybody got the ish
mean,
talkers.
yeah, I mean, it sucks. Unfortunately, it was against his own teammate too, which is like,
The rumor is supposedly that, and this is just me just passing because I hate watching
yeah,
videos now with everybody fighting because I'm like, I feel like everybody records everything now. So it's like, I'm
yeah,
like, all right, I don't need to see somebody I trust that he hit him. But the
yeah,
bottom line is, my first reaction was to be like, well, that's Draymond because Draymond's always kind of,
mm,
trying to psych people out. And then I thought, well, maybe because I know the rumor is that Jordan Poole is most likely negotiating a big deal to sign with the Warriors. And then also Draymond is rumored to be like renegotiating. And they're saying that some of this might be stemming from
mm.
that and
Oh,
that,
okay,
Jordan might have talked some shit to him, and then Draymond was kind of trying to remind him, like kind of sun him, like I'm older, I know what I'm talking, you ain't shit, and whatever he said. There was some kind of joke that was said that kind of was playing off of Jordan's last name,
mm.
and apparently just went back and forth, and I
Like,
don't know what
dude,
he said, but that's what made him
I
punch him.
mean, Draymond needs to realize one thing: Jordan Poole is a better player than he is. so,
Well, and
so
also,
he's So he's
Jordan's
gonna make,
younger.
and he's younger, so he's gonna make more money right now.
Right.
So
And you can't renegotiate because you guys have had a couple rings. I mean, that has nothing to do with the
yeah,
team. That's just you.
honestly, they would push you out just because okay,
Right.
he's aging, we can get somebody
Right.
else to take his spot.
You'd be the first to go. And I know there's
Yep.
some players that just like again, going back to Tom Brady, if you're so used to kind of having the monopoly on a
Hmm.
league, you
Yeah.
think that all you got to do is be honest and then people can just say, "Well, everybody's been saying Draymond's been slacking for a while." So,
Yeah.
whether or not he's a good defensive force, I think he just uses his mouth more than his muscles to psych people out on the court.
And having
Some
these,
people just are
yeah,
used to it,
and
you
having
know?
these little stupid like things happen, it just makes you look bad.
It makes you
You
look bad
know.
because also too, as you're getting older, you just look like someone who's fighting age and you're just like mad because the
Hmm.
new up and coming guy, even though you know damn well you was congratulating him in that last championship because he clearly earned all the kudos that he got.
Yeah.
Um and Curry himself, I'm sure, would agree that both of them are great players, but like you said, you make yourself look bad if you jealous about somebody's upcoming contract because you're worried about being irrelevant when there's other teams out there who probably could use you,
Yeah.
you know? Because the rumor is some people are saying, and I'm sure that's just the people who want the Lakers to get better, is that he would go to the Lakers if they traded him. But if they did, I don't know if that would really even make the Lakers better because do you really think LeBron needs another headache on his team?
I wouldn't.
LeBron's getting too old for half of the dudes on his squad
I
now.
wouldn't want him on my team.
I wouldn't
Like
either.
if you're gonna come with that baggage, I mean,
Right. You're already dealing with Westbrook, and Westbrook is not even Westbrook they're saying is being standoffish already.
yeah,
You
you
know,
see the clip of him like not even getting in the pregame huddle
yeah, just kind of just facing the audience and stuff. And
and
I'm
staying over
like,
there by himself. I'm like, yo, what the hell is this guy doing?
right. I mean, my God. I mean, it's bad enough now they're saying his alleged, with him and Pat Bev making it work or whatever. I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Wait till the first flare up during regular season. They're gonna be swatting at
Yeah.
each other.
Yep.
So, I mean, I'm just saying, you can't, if you have guys with volatile personalities who are stubborn as hell, do you really think you can do anything to change it? And
It's
I
up to
think
them.
it's
They don't
it's up
want to
to them.
change. They don't want to change. They're not going to.
Right. And the front office
So
honestly makes the final decision because Curry can say all he wants about his teammates. He doesn't have the final say as to whether or not Draymond gets traded.
mhm.
So I think at the end of the day, I just think it's sad because it just shows you how much pressure there is to stay relevant on a team when you're not ready to leave or when life just comes at you fast and next thing you know you're not hot anymore. And
Yeah.
does that reality really scare guys, when they've been on a team so long? They're
Hmm.
not used to the change. I mean, look at Katie and Kyrie. It's like how long are they gonna decide to be on the Nets when they clearly that team is a dumpster fire too?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's just waiting to happen. I don't care
Yeah.
what nobody said. KD wanted to leave because KD always wants to slip and slide out of a team when he's not happy. And the difference with
Yep.
him and Kyrie is Kyrie's used to being a pain in the ass, so he's content no matter where he goes. He's like, I'm me,
Yeah. He's like,
so
whatever.
I
He's
don't
like,
have
all
a problem
right.
with me.
Yeah. He's a deal with it. Right. Pretty much.
Yeah, like Kyrie's never going to be an issue in his eyes. It's just everybody else's problem.
And
Whereas KD's
that's
always trying to slip and slide and sneak his way out of without
that's
trying
something.
to.
That's something else he's got to address. That's you need to go see
Right.
somebody about that because that's like that's
Yeah.
a trait that's hard. Like just really bad.
Well, I personally thought that originally if they were trying to find a suitor for KD at this point, I think he should have went back to the Warriors, you know, because I felt like he went out obviously with that met injury and he could have
Mm,
been part of that championship team again. So I said if he wasn't happy with the net situation because it clearly was out of control and it still is,
mm.
just because it's quieted down don't mean it's going to get any better. I just think that he should have just took a chance and got a pay cut or whatever and went to the Warriors because
And they would have took him back. You know they would have.
hell yeah. And then if you got to bring Draymond to the Nets, that'll be
Yeah, just
hilarious.
ship your problem out. Like,
Get
all
the
right.
problem out, put him in the nets. He can maybe like rough up Ben if Ben starts acting stupid. That'll be fun. I
Yeah,
would love to see that.
but you know what? You know what? How many other people would have to be in that trade?
Yeah, I know.
Like
Realistically, salary is not going to work.
from Golden State, just the team, just players. Like, come on, like,
Yeah, I
Draymond
know.
for KD.
I just think it would be funny for Draymond to be on the Nets team with Ben, and then he be in Ben's face every day. He'd probably be pissing him off left and right. Like, you're such a bitch. Why don't you talk? What's wrong with you, punk? And we'd be sitting there going, go, Draymond, go. Just to see if he would actually fight Ben. I would only like that just to see if Ben would actually fight for himself. You know what I mean? Because I feel like he has
Yeah,
no pulse until he's like until they start nodding at him, and that's the only time he looks
Yeah.
like he has some life in his eyeballs. But
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, that's just the NBA gossip I wanted to throw your way because I wanted to see what you thought. But I'm excited for the Sixers just because I'm hoping to see a more rejuvenated team. They don't even play half as many games as Phillies, but I always worry about that last leg of the regular season because that's usually when Embiid is, God forbid, less injury prone than he was
Well,
in the past year, and people stop poking him in his damn eye,
yeah, right.
because his eyes are all disconfigured now because he's had both things poked, so it's like, can y'all just leave his face alone for once this season? I mean, he's African, but god dang,
Yeah, leave him alone.
please, like I'm hoping somebody give him some what is the what was the metal that was vibranium? Somebody put some vibranium around his neck this year so that he does not get anything above his neck, his whole body. But what are your wishes for the Sixers? Just sidebar.
I'm hoping like that this whole bench thing works out because they need a bench, and this is good. I think the bench is good now.
Yeah, he did
I'm
say that.
hoping to see. Yeah, because then you don't have to play. You can sit him down for a minute.
Right, because he needs
These
a
guys,
rest. Yeah,
these guys can get some rest. If you're not getting 8 points off the bench, he's got to come back in.
right.
You
Yeah.
know,
So just give
it's
give him give Embiid free.
yeah, well, yeah, right.
Free.
Hey, let him rest.
Let him rest. He deserves it. He just wants to be MVP.
Yeah. Oh
That's all we
God,
hope. No, but yeah,
they'll
I
give it
wish
to
the same for you.
Jokic again.
What's that?
They're gonna be stupid and give it to Jokic again. I hate that motherfucker.
Yeah,
Sorry.
look, if I were you, I'd be hoping that there'd be somebody at least other than him in the running this year because I don't even think I'm with Embiid. I wouldn't even talk about MVP and more this year because he already knows it's a game at this point.
Yeah,
I think his feelings been hurt enough to
and
know
yeah, at
that
this
if they
point,
look at
he's
him like a
probably
poodle.
well. You know what he wants. He wants a ring. Fuck all that other stuff.
At
But
this point, does it really
yeah,
matter? Because if you an MVP and don't have a ring, what does it matter? You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like normally you get the MVP and the ring, and
Like
that's
great, great. It looks good on your mantle. Okay, yeah.
right. Wonderful. Here's my certificate. Where's my freaking ring, buddy? Been in this league
Yeah,
almost 10 damn years. Give me a break. But yeah,
yeah.
no, but I'm looking forward to the fact that we all have these sports going on at the same time. Flyers are about to kick off. So it's like the one thing we know for sure that this is definitely going to be an exciting part of the last part of October because everything will start overlapping. Hopefully the Phillies will still be playing and we'll
Hmm.
just have more to talk about. So
Yeah.
that's Birds of a Feather, the co-ed edition is offering today, folks. We're excited. It's Dallas week. Talk your shit, Cowboys fans, because we know you want to come out and talk some shit.
Go for it.
But
Yeah.
we're not intimidated because at least we have our starting quarterback. So
Yep.
that's one advantage we have over y'all already. We got our quarterback. We got our king. So at the end of the day, us Eagle fans just say fly Eagles fly. Eddie, you got
Yes,
any
sir.
last thoughts?
Nah, just go birds and let's have a good weekend beating Dallas. And I'm gonna be in Virginia, so I'll be back in
Right.
time to watch it. So which is good.
Well, you'll be thinking of us either way because we want to go 2 for 2 this weekend. So we're hoping that the Phillies wrap it up at home.
That'd be
So let's just put that
nice.
you put that little good vibes
Little
out there.
little
Ding, 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 ding. I wish I could cook in the little sound
little
effect. Ding,
little
ding, ding,
little
ding.
little little, little win on Saturday.
Little win
They
on
clinch
Saturday here,
they
wins on
clinch it
here,
out.
like
They
the
clinch
salt
it
guy.
out. Yep.
Put all the W's down here. But yeah,
Hmm.
so all right. Well, next time you hear from us teamers, we will be talking about a post Eagles, post Phillies win. Thank you for tuning in. We
Yeah.
were wish Eddie safe travels, and we will talk to y'all soon. Peace out, Birds of a
Later.
Feather, the co-ed edition. Holla.